Well, we start with this. President Biden is hosting his Japanese counterpart in Washington today for a critical state visit. The arrival ceremony for Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida happened on the south lawn of the White House, as you see here, this morning. Shortly after the Japanese leader's arrival, he sat down with the president for a meeting in the Oval Office. President Biden said the alliance between the U.S. and Japan has, quote, never been stronger.
Today, I look forward to discussing how we can even deepen it more, including increasing defense and then technology and cooperation across the board.
CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman has more on this for us. Willie, great to see you. We know President Biden and the Japanese Prime Minister are expected to discuss a wide variety of topics today, including during a press availability, the military partnership, space, education. What can you tell us about what we should expect to hear?
Hey there, Errol. Good to be with you. Well, there are some 70 deliverables, the White House says, that will be announced during this official visit and this state dinner that the president is hosting the Prime Minister of Japan for. And I'll just take through a few of those major items that we're going to see. They will include increased military cooperation, with Japan producing some of those military goods as well. Now, they'll work behind the scenes to come up with a plan for that. The Secretary of Defense will be heavily involved in that particular piece of this announcement. There will also be increased university and research and exchange opportunities for students. On top of that, a major lunar agreement that would call for a Japanese astronaut being on a U.S.-led moon mission, a mission to the moon. So that will be an interesting part of this agreement and this announcement that we anticipate. And one of the things I thought was very interesting and is, of course, of interest to folks here in Washington, D.C., perhaps around the world who travel here for those to see those cherry blossom trees, there'll be some saplings that Japan will provide to the United States to replace hundreds of cherry blossom trees that are on and along the National Mall. In fact, the Prime Minister of Japan, he'll participate in a tree planting ceremony while he's here visiting Washington, D.C. as well. So a lot on the plate and a lot to talk about during this press conference that's happening in the next couple of hours, Errol.
All right, so everything from deliverables to, symbolic displays of cooperation. Talk to us, though, about what's happening in the background of these conversations, the role China is playing in this visit.
Yeah, China is really the elephant in the room. In fact, there'll be a meeting between President Joe Biden, Prime Minister Kishida, and also President Marcos of the Philippines. They'll have the first trilateral meeting between those three leaders on Thursday. And a U.S. official essentially said that China remains a top concern, but also that the hostility would not deter the Philippines. There have been some incursions in the South China Sea, some maritime incursions between the Chinese vessels and Philippine vessels, and they want to make sure that not only does that not happen, but they stop that from happening in the future. And that's certainly been a top concern for not only Philippine officials, but U.S. officials as well. They want to make sure that everybody is peaceful along that South China Sea. That's been a top concern for U.S. officials here. I anticipate that'll be something that they will talk about fiercely during that trilateral meeting that's happening on Thursday. And yet again, another reason for the U.S. to not only talk about China, but also to talk about the peaceful coexistence of its allies in countering Chinese actions in the South China Sea.
All right, a lot of interesting things to come both today and this week. Willie James Inman, thank you.